Okay, so this is substituting expressions 2.2. We're going to do A through D on page 29. I'm probably just going to go over a couple with you. It's not as difficult as it looks. It takes a little bit of mental concentration, but not too much. Okay, so it says the daily concession stand profit in dollars P depends on the number of visitors V. So actually, you know what? Let's go to the textbook so we can see what it looks like. The manager of a Watertown amusement park uses the data collected over the past several years to write equations that will help her make predictions about the daily operations of the park. The daily concession stand profit in dollars P depends on the number of visitors V. The manager writes the equation below to model the relationship. So profit is equal to 2.5 times visitors minus 500. I'm going to assume 500 is like operating costs or something. Okay, so here's how much money they're going to make based off of this. Now this is kind of a vague idea because we don't know what V is. So that's the number of visitors, but what do we put there? She uses the equation below to predict the number of visitors based on the probability of rain. Okay, so where there's V. V is 600 minus 500 times R. R is the probability of rain. Okay, so this is back on our note section. So you need these two equations here. You need these two equations, and if you don't want to write this whole thing, you could probably just keep it really simple and say P equals profit, P equals profit, and V equals visitors, and R equals probability of rain. So I'm going to put percentage of rain. There we go. So I need those three things to make this equation work. Okay, so question A1 says, suppose the probability of rain is 25%. Okay, so the probability of rain is 25%. Now, what profit can the concession stand expect? So I need to first start on the very inside. This 25% is my R. Okay, so I'm going to plug that into the equation there. I'll solve it, and then I'll get my V. Once I get my V, I'll plug it in and put it in there. Or I can make one long equation. Okay, we'll just do this in parts first. Okay, so we'll say V. Let's do this in a different color. We'll say the visitors is equal to 600. So visitors is equal to 600 minus 500 times the probability of rain. Our probability of rain is 25%, 0.25. Okay. Once we solve this, we can put it into this equation there. Okay, so let's solve this visitor equation. So the number of visitors is equal to 600 minus 25% of 500. Well, 25% of 400 is 100, and then another 25% would be 125 minus $125. So V is equal to $475. Now this 475, I can plug this into my other equation. Okay, my visitors is 475. Now I can use my profit margin equation here. So I can say profit is equal to 2.50 times V, and V is, well, it's right there, it's 475. I'm going to substitute that into there, 475, and then the rest of the equation is minus 500. So I'm going to keep moving question B down. Seem to be running out of space. So I'll move these down. Okay. All right. So 2.75 times 475 minus 500. Okay, so profit, now multiply these two together. This is equal to 1187.5. That's this part. Minus 500. And that'll give me my profit for the day, or predicted profit. That should be $687.50. Okay. Now, we substituted the probability of rain, found out the number of visitors, use the number of visitors to predict our profit based on a estimation equation. Okay, number 2 says, what is the probability of rain if the profit expected is 675? Explain your reasoning. Okay, well, number 2 is a little trickier. It's saying if the probability of rain, what is the probability of rain? So now we're looking for this. This is our unknown. Um, if we expect to make $625, so is it going to be more or less than 475? Well, 475 gave us 687, so it's got to be less than that. So we can guess and check, but you know what? I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to rewrite this equation. I'm looking. Profit is equal to 2.50 times V. Put the V in there in blue. Minus 500. Okay, now what I'm going to do is instead of V, I'm going to substitute the entire equation. I'm going to substitute this in there. This is equal to V, so I'm going to put it into this equation. I'm going to put profit is equal to 2.50 times, and our equation is 600 minus 500. Oops, 600 minus 500. Let's erase this. Times probability of rain. Times the probability of rain, which we'll do in red. We'll call this, oops, that's not red. In red, the probability of rain. There's my V. This whole thing represents V. This whole equation is V, because it's right there. Then minus 500. Okay. So to solve this, okay, again, I gotta move these two a lot further than I thought I was going to. Okay, so here's my probability of rain. I need to solve this. Now this looks like a lot of work, so I'm gonna start going through this slowly. I'm gonna get rid of this parentheses by distributing this 2.5. So 2.5 times 600, well, 2 times 6 is 12, plus 3 more, that's 1500. You know what, I should change this color. 2.5 times 600 is 1500. And then 2.5 times 500 is going to be minus 1250 times r. This is my unknown. This is what I'm looking for. So that takes care of this whole part, minus 500. That is my probability, my profit expectation. Now I don't want to do this. There's so much going on. I'm going to combine this one and this one together. So positive 1500 minus 500. My profit is 1000 minus 1250 times r. Okay, now the question, let's go back to the question, says what is the probability of rain if I want to make $625 for that day? So my profit is now 625, and I need to solve, sorry, this should be 1000, is equal to 1000 minus 1250 r. 1250 r. I'm going to put this in red. Okay. So to solve this, minus 1000, and then divide by 1250 r. Okay, so I'm going to go do that really quickly. So if I lose you, slow it down, rewind it. Minus 1000, and then this should be 375 is equal to negative 1250 r. And then we'll divide by negative 1250, so r is all by itself, and we'll divide this side by negative 1250, and we should get our probability of rain. Okay, so I just did the calculations on a calculator. The r, when these two cancel out, is equal to 0.3. Now I know it's negative 0.3, but again, we can't have negative possibility of rain, so this is automatically made a positive, so our probability of rain should be 30%. Okay. Write an equation that you can use to predict the concession stand profit P based on the probability of rain. So we did that already, and we actually did that right here. This is our equation right here, okay? But we didn't want to use all that, so we kind of reduced it down. We distributed, we combined like terms. This is a nice, simple equation. It doesn't have so much, doesn't have so little, it's just the right amount of information. So the probability of profit is equal to 1,000 minus 1250 R. Use your equation to predict the profit when probability of rain is 25. Oh, we already did that, so we can skip that. Write equivalent expression for profit in question B. Write two expressions that two expressions are equivalent. So write an equivalent expression for profit in question B. So they want us to write another equation for this, and I don't know why. I would just use this equation here or this equation here. This one's pretty good because it shows you where everything comes from, but again, that's just so much data that it might be too much. You can simplify this to get down here. The next three questions aren't so difficult. Predict the profit, what is the probability, etc. You're just making predictions. You can predict and then calculate, and it shouldn't be so bad. And are these linear or nonlinear? Again, is this a linear equation? Could you make a table like we did in 2.1? Make a table and check. Okay. I'm going to post your homework on the Google Classroom as well and give it to Miss Porter so she can hand it out to you guys also. As far as grades are going to go, I'm only going to enter your Khan Academy and any missing assignments. If you have any missing assignments, send it my way. I'll fix it before the end of the week, when our grades are due. And then everything else will just go into quarter 4. Alrighty guys, I'll see you guys next week.